Such a holy show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place.
We three will be standing
You are sacred love.
period. We'll practice
Sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, God. Sacred love is all that you are.
and you can choose which one your favorite.
Sacred love is all that you are. Sacred love is all that you are.
Yay, Rainer is in on the quotes. Period. I said he could pick out his 3 favorite. Period. This afternoon. Period. The goal is 9 of them. So each of us will
My
read 3.
decision.
Period.
It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision.
What do you think?
No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision. Right here and
You want us up there with you?
love
I mean, but
is
I
my
actually, I won't.
decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how.
So you're wearing the eyelet lace?
Yes?
Yeah, and it's a very dear form to me. My mother gave me a dress when I was a little girl. I still have it with eyelet lace, and when I saw you, when I saw you wearing it, I was like, oh, thank you.
This is my second blouse that I bought recently with eyelet lace on it.
You're in
I
style.
swear I couldn't resist it.
Yeah, thank you.
You know again.
Yeah, it's right.
Yes, there's a few copies of this chant that we're going to open with on the chairs. If you see one, grab one. This is called the Cherokee Morning Song.
As in, good morning, darlings.
And the words mean, I'm one with Great Spirit, I'm one with God, God and I are one. So invite you to stand up to sing this. It'll be more joyful that way. And this was a pick from Carla, Reverend Carla, showed us this chant, and she loves it. And hopefully you will too. We'll just do it through 4 times for the 4 directions. We can show you the melody first. It goes,
Wendeyaho, Wendeyaho, Wendeya, Wendeya, ho, 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 hey, ho, hey, ho, ya, ya, ya.
who's that what they already know?
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
4 times through.
Wendeyaho, Wendeyaho, Wendeya, Wendeya, ho, 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 hey, ho, hey, ho, ya, ya, ya. Wendeyaho, Wendeyaho, Wendeya, Wendeya, ho, 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 hey, ho, hey, ho, ya, ya, ya. Wendeyaho, Wendeyaho, Wendeya, Wendeya, ho, 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 hey, ho, hey, ho, ya, ya, ya. Wendeyaho, Wendeyaho, Wendeya, Wendeya, ho, 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 hey, ho, hey, ho, ya, ya, ya. Ya, ya. Woo! All right.
Oh.
Welcome to Unity of Gainesville this beautiful morning. May this service bless each of you on your spiritual path, those of you here in person, those of you joining us on Zoom or Facebook, and all those who are with us in spirit. My name is Jim Palmer, and I'll be guiding us through the sacred service this morning. I'd like to introduce some folks that are going to be involved in this service. The speaker is Carla Palmer, and she's going to talk about the sacred hoop. Reminds me of basketball. The board member on duty is Barbara Gordon. The prayer partner, is Ann Young, and Forever Young, I should say. Our musicians today are Kathy, DeWitt, and Mega. And besides that, we've got all kinds of people that have partaken of this morning service. The AV group in the back, Steadfast, the many other people involved, including us up here. Let me start with some announcements, if that's where I'm supposed to be. We're going to start a new Zoom group this coming week on Thursday. The book will be called Living Untethered by Michael Singer. And Michael Singer, if you don't know, is the author of two bestsellers, The Untethered Soul and Surrender Experiment, both of which have been published worldwide. You can get your copy from Amazon or Apple Books. You are welcome to bring friends to this meeting, and please pass the invitation along to them. That's what the book looks like, and you can get it online.
Can you repeat the title?
Living Untethered by Michael Singer. Excuse me. July 24th, our church is blessed to host guest speaker, author, and psychotherapist Lissa Friedman. She also is offering her books and workshop right after service. The workshop is entitled Boundless. There is a flyer available, and more details are on the Unity website. Please see our website and our weekly newsletter called Unity Messenger, edited by Sue Henry Young, that faithfully comes to our email boxes on Fridays. And let's see where we go from here. Prayer is an essential Unity practice. You are invited to stay after the service if you would like to pray with one of the prayer chaplains. Look on the screen in the gathering room or on our bulletin board for our classes and events. For those of you online, check our website and be sure to subscribe to our weekly e-blast for more information. And now we're going to have the daily word said by our friend Saradna Mazur.
Okay. Here's the daily word. Put your mic up real close. Oh, okay, sorry. This is the daily word for Sunday, July 3rd, 2022. And it's free. Living from my Christ nature sets me free. As a spiritual being, I am always free. I remember this at those moments I feel at the mercy of an unpredictable world. While I may not be able to control what's happening around me, I can take comfort knowing I don't need to. I am free to choose my response. But even more, I am free to meet life from my divinity, the breath of my spiritual power. In prayer, I claim divine ideas. I use my gift of imagination to envision the life I wish to live and the gift of will to make choices to bring it about. I speak affirmations to raise my consciousness and help create conditions for my highest and best outcomes to manifest. I find precious freedom realizing that life doesn't happen to me, life happens through me. And the scripture reading is, "So if the Son makes you free, you will be free indeed." And that's from John 8, verse 36.
Vega's going to lead us in a song now. It's actually one of her own songs. She's written several and shared with us today. And she's lived here in Gainesville for a long time, and we played together quite a bit back in the day. And she's just here this week for the first time in many years.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
It's Megan Morganfield.
thank you. I just want to say that the inspiration for this song was from my mother. She gave me a copy of Khalil Gibran's book, The Prophet. And in that book, he says that when you're in love, it is not that God comes to you, but that you join God. There's one word that's a little different. We will be doing this as a congregational sing. The word is kin ye, and it means to be connected. I kin ye, kin of mine. And we'll do it as a call and response. So, the sun always shines, though we may not be in the light. Together. The sun always shines, though we may not be in the light. I kin, ye kin of mine, though you may not be in my sight. I kin, ye kin of mine, though you may not be in my sight. And so I draw on what is here. I am in the heart of God. Together. And so I draw on what is here. I am in the heart of God. Repeat the same again. And so I draw on what is here. I am in the heart of God. So that will only be twice through when we all do it together again. The sun always shines, though we may not be in the light. Together. The sun always shines, though we may not. Though we may not be in the light. I kin ye. I kin, ye kin of mine, though you may not be in my sight. And so I draw, and so I draw on what is here. I'm in the heart. I am in the heart of God again. And so I draw on what is here. I am in the heart of God. The sun always shines, though we may not be in the light. I kin, ye kin of mine, though you may not be in my sight. And so I draw, and so I draw on what is here. I am in the heart of God. And so I draw, and so I draw on what is here. I am in the heart of God. One last time. The sun always shines, though we may not be in the light. I kin ye. I kin, ye kin of mine, though you may not be in my sight. And so I draw, and so I draw on what is here. I am in the heart of God. And so I draw on what is here. I am in the heart of God. Thank you.
think it's my turn now to open us up with morning prayer. So, you know, we had the song with the Cherokee morning song, and so I thought it would be appropriate if we used an Apache morning prayer as our opening prayer. But what the Apache do is everybody stands up when they pray. So if you wouldn't mind, if you feel like it, stand up with me and face this wall over here. So I'm going to be moving around, so I took my mic off the stand here. So we are facing east, and if you just want to look at the wall or imagine what's out there beyond the wall, or close your eyes, and here we go. And then you're going to, then when I turn, I'm going to say turn, and you will turn this way toward that wall. So eventually we're going to make all the way around back to the front. Okay. To the east, to the new day, to the light within and without, to golden eagle, to illumination, to the east, I call for your power and your spirit to come in and bless this sacred service. And turn. To the south, to trust and innocence, to the little mouse and the coyote, to the good road home. To the south, I ask for your spirit to come in and bless this sacred service. And turn. To the west, to the dark waters of looking within, to the home of beautiful shell woman, black bear and brown bear, and to the medicine path. To the west, I call for your power and your spirit to come and unify and bless this sacred service. Turn. And to the north, home of the old ones and those gone by, to the wisdom place, place of white buffalo and snow leopard. To the north, call for your power and your spirit to be here now. And looking down at the floor and to Mother Earth, to the two-leggeds and four-leggeds and all that fly and crawl and swim, to all the children of the mother. And then looking up to Father Sky. And so it is. Aho.
I think there's a song, or?
Oh, welcome newcomers.
Our crowd seems to be a little sparse, but is there anybody here for the very first time? Wonderful, thank you. Thank you for coming. I think we have a packet for you to... Very good, very good. Welcome aboard. Pardon me?
Announcements, or did you have any announcements?
Is it the, we think the message is
If you don't have any more announcements.
I think it's your turn. I think it's your turn.
there we go.
It's my turn again. Okay. Thank you. Well, when I was thinking about the talk for today, I asked Jim, I said, I really would love to do opening prayer, but it's Native American, maybe people will think it's weird. And so he said, no, do what you want, do it. And so I still wasn't sure. And then Kathy and I kind of go back and forth with emails and texts on the week before I speak. And so Kathy says, when are you going to get into the Indian stuff? When are you going to get into the shaman stuff? And I thought, okay, that's it. That's what we're going to do. So today, that's why I called the title The Sacred Hoop. Sacred Hoops. And I just want you to take a breath right now with me, and I'm setting this intention that in this now moment, seeds are being planted for the becoming of what you already are. And just allow these seeds to be planted within your consciousness. Okay. So the theme for this month, I always get to introduce the theme for the month because I come here to speak on the first Sunday. And so the theme for this month is about service. And so it's interesting because every pathway, every spiritual pathway has service someplace in that line of things that we go through. And so I kind of envision it, I'm very visual, and so I envision it as this train, and one of the cars of the train is about sacred service. And this train, though, is going up a mountain in a circle, right? And so it's going up, and it gets higher and higher and higher and higher until when it gets to the top, it meets all these other mystics who have gone up there on their own train, and when they meet at the top, nobody says, my way is better than your way. Nobody. Because every way is important to each individual. So, we meet our true essence, which is what I say is our true self. And what was always inside of us all along in our lives. And so we are known by the One. I just want you to breathe that in. We are known. You can just say it out loud if you want. I am known by God. I am known. And so this is an extremely important thing as well, because we need to have this realization that we are known by the power of the One. I love that. And how we serve is a function of our consciousness. How we have exposed our consciousness to allow our being to be spiritually fed. That's what you're here today doing. You're being spiritually fed. And so the affirmation that goes with the theme of service is, I serve as I am spiritually fed. Can we say that together? I serve as I am spiritually fed. And you know, when I wrote that affirmation in December of last year, I had a clear idea. And when I got to it this month, I'm going, what? What was I thinking? And so it put me into this space of rediscovering and rediscovering a lot about myself. And so I'm using myself a little bit as an example in my talk today. But how this works, I serve as I am spiritually fed, as I consciously accept the spiritual loving care that takes place all the time in my life, even when we feel lost. That spiritual care is happening 24/7. Okay. As I consciously accept it, because you have to accept it, I become aware of the sacred care that I am receiving, because you're accepting it, and I offer it forward as sacred service. So sacred service is what? It's a hoop. I receive, and then I offer it forward. You see that? It comes in, and then because it's an inexhaustible supply, you're not going to run out, right? You're never going to run out. It's a sacred hoop, as the Indians call it. So we're going to explore this sacred service through different ideas about these hoops. So our opening prayer was a circle, wasn't it? Didn't we turn completely in a circle? And I noticed that as I turned, the cord was getting wound around my ankles, you know. I'm going, yeah, this really is a circle, you know. It's coming around my feet. So the energies that the directions bring are vibratory. We didn't see them, did we, with our eyes? But they're vibratory. Everything is energy. Truth is energy. That's how you know it when you hear it. It resonates with you. Have you ever thought, oh, I heard this at church today and it seems like I've always known that, but it really meant something to me today. It was truth. It was vibe. It was in it was in your vibes to know that. On this planet, all this vibratory energy that's around us coalesces. It condenses into what we think is solid form. We're sitting on something right now that's solid, we think. But actually, if you looked at it with an electron microscope, you would see there's more space than matter. In everything, there is more space. So if somebody calls you spacey, thank them. Thank you very much. Of course I am. Full of space. Yeah. The whole spectrum of light energy, what we can see, the whole spectrum is, I get this, say this right, is 35 10,000ths of a percentage. So it's very, very small. So imagine this huge spectrum of electromagnetic energy that we can't see. We can only see this little tiny bit that's in the middle of it all. And that, when you look at a rainbow the next time, think, this is the only electromagnetic energy that I can see with my eyes. Now we have instruments and things like that that can sense these things, but our eyes can only see that little part of, and when you see a rainbow, that's it. That's what you can see. I got one of my grandfathers, I had three, got me interested in science. When I was a toddler, he would bring me, if a baby bird fell out of a nest or something, like, he'd bring it to me. And he'd put it in my hands, and he would say, look at it, look at its little feathers. And he would, he wasn't a scientist, but he loved nature. And I remember one time he took me fishing. I don't know how old I was, but this is the farthest back I can remember. And that was, he got me up in the middle of the night, it was dark, and he took me fishing. And you know how fishermen are. They want to get there when it's dark, because evidently that's when the fish are biting, or near dawn or something like that. And set up my fishing rod and all that, and I can remember sitting there on the bank. I can remember having these white shoes on, like little leather shoes that toddlers wear, and holding this fishing pole, and I caught, and it caught a fish. I didn't know what I was doing. And he and my uncle were there, and they got so excited that they were like beside themselves that I was able to catch a fish, and it really didn't register with me until many years later that it was a big deal for them. But it wasn't until last week that it became a huge deal for me, because I started thinking about that. And I wondered if I should bring it into the talk, and it was the love that they had for this little girl, to get her up in the middle of the night and take her fishing. They wanted that little girl to experience this, and they were so ecstatic that little girl caught a fish. You know, and so I remembered, and I thought, oh, they must have loved me so much to do that. And so it blossomed anew, that whole experience. So when I went to college and, you know, later grew up and I was in this, I went to Ohio University, and I had to take physics for one whole year for my major. And so in that, they started talking about electromagnetic energy and energy and all that kind of thing. And I got this idea that there was energy going around us all the time that we couldn't see, just like I had explained to you. But that wasn't in our course. And so when we got home, when I got home on a vacation or something like that, I went to see my grandpa, and I said, listen, you know how we talked about this and all about nature and all. I said, there's all this stuff going on around you that you can't see. And it was really important to me, that I told him that. So that was my love. I wanted him to know what I intuitively thought, that everything was moving all around us. And then I found years later, that this is true. This is through the advancement of science. This is common knowledge now. Empty space. And then I ran across a statement when I was working on the talk, and because it was a knowing that I wanted to share with him. And one of these little statements said, a knowing believed is faith. So do you ever have a knowing sometimes that oh yeah, I know, I'm not going that way, I'm going to go this way. And that's faith. A knowing is faith. So I'll tell another story about myself that's important for this talk, and it's when I was 7, my mother sat me down. I can still see it now in my mind. We were sitting on the floor, and in our little apartment, and it was after World War II was over. Except not for the people who came home, right? And she told me, she said, I just want you to know that we're from Indian descent, and I just want you to know that, but I don't want you to tell anybody about it. You have to keep it as a secret, but I wanted you to know that. And so I didn't think anything of it, but I did. I kept it as a secret. And then later, when I was working on this talk, I was like, why was that a secret? Why was that a whole family secret? Because she told me at that time that there was a part of the family that refused to meet me when I was a baby because I looked too Indian. And so that was, and I'm so I was thinking about it this week, and I thought, why was that such a big deal? And then, a couple days went by, and then it clicked. In the middle 1800s, that was where the federal government had all the military round up all the Indians and drive them like cattle out to Oklahoma, where they would live. And so they uprooted them from the hills in North Carolina and in Ohio, and it was called, do you know what it's called? It was called, yes, thank you, the Trail of Tears, and all. But my mom's grandparents were in Ohio. That's why they didn't want anybody to know. That's why they didn't want anybody to know they were Indians, because they would have to leave and go out to Oklahoma. And so they were outlaws. The more I thought of it, they were outlaws because they were supposed to have been, gone there. And some of the stories about how many people died on that march and everything. And so that's why. So my great-grandmothers and great-grandfather didn't want anybody to know that. And so they told their kids not to say anything, which would be my grandfather. And then he told his kids, don't say anything, it's a secret. And so my mom told me that. And so we have these secrets in families. But that's, once again, the gift of putting this talk together was that I got that insight. I got 2 insights about how I was loved and how they tried to protect everybody from their line all the way down so that they wouldn't someday have to be uprooted and marched away. And the fact, my dramatic side, the fact that they were outlaws was really kind of cool. I thought, all right. So I didn't tell anybody, but until way late in my life, but I was always interested in Indians, and I wanted to understand their religion and their customs and all of that. So at the ripe old age of 40, 41 maybe, 42, I don't know, I found an Indian teacher who was a shaman. She's a healer. And I became her apprentice, and I was with her for 14 years. Yeah. And so all the stuff that she taught me, it took me years and years to internalize it. So that's why I said at the beginning, these are seeds that are being planted. And we don't know when they're going to grow within us. But sometimes I'll be thinking of something that she said to me, and I'll go, oh, I get it in a whole different way, And so she's passed away now. But it's all, it's still, the teaching still goes on. It's embedded in my heart. She was actually my first introduction to oneness. She would talk about oneness a lot. And all of our ceremonies were in circles, and she called them the hoop. And she taught me that prayer that I did at the beginning. We had to memorize all these things. And so well, I forgot what I was going to say, but, I know. It's not in my notes, that's why I forgot what I was going to say. But I was telling Kathy earlier that I think she might have read some of Fillmore. Charles Fillmore stuff, because when I became interested in unity was right here in this very room 20-some years ago. And what was being taught was so much of what she taught us that I thought, okay, now I can have a community of like-minded people without having to go out to Colorado and Arizona and all that kind of thing to sit with her, and I can carry this on. But then I found out when I was doing my schooling to become a licensed Unity teacher that Charles Fillmore and his mother and a sibling, I don't know if it was a sister or brother, but they were abandoned by his father at a Lakota Sioux group, and the Indians adopted them. And so the whole family, his father was a fur trapper, and they never heard from him again. And so I think what Charles Fillmore, a lot of the philosophy that he had was from the Native Americans, you know, or the American Indians, as they would rather be called. So the circle with no beginning and no end, these are all symbols. Oh, and another circle, I was able to sit with Sun Bear a few times, and I don't know if you'd ever heard of him back in the 80s or anything, but he taught the medicine wheel, and so he taught me how to build a medicine wheel as well. So all of these things about circles. Elaine of Lille was a mystic and a philosopher born about 1900 years ago, and he wrote this this treatise kind of thing called The Rules of Theology, and he was a monk. And so what he said, and I finally found the source of this statement: God is an infinite sphere whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere. Now that sounds hard, you know. So in essence, we can't get our mind around that, and we can't really get our mind around God either, can we? And then I noticed, I mean, this has just all come together this week. There's a statement of Black Elk, who was a Lakota Sioux. Have you ever heard of Black Elk? And he said, the center of God is everywhere. I'm telling you that these mystics, that's what I was saying, when you get up to the top of the mountain, nobody is going to say, my way was better than your way. They all come up with the same realizations. Now, there's a Cherokee theologian named Reverend Dr. Randy Woodley, and he said, one model for understanding our relationship with everything, which is God, is a simple symbol used among Native Americans all over the North American continent. And what do you suppose it is? It's a circle. And he calls it a hoop. And he says in Cherokee, the Cherokees call it when you live in the harmony way. And so I remember months ago, I said, we're having a new moon, that's when you plant. That's when, you know, you guys told me that you heard that. When you plant things, when you start a new project, you try to finish a phase of it by the full moon, and you rest a little bit, and then you can start again. And this is how and so that is the harmony way. I just didn't know it was called that. And he said that a person can enter a circle at any place or at any stage of life. So that goes along with Jesus' teachings too. It doesn't matter when you get it, you know. He just said life is a sacred hoop. So when we gather in a circle, and at the end we're going to have a circle. He says prayer has already started just when you think about gathering in a circle. It's how we communicate with each other, and with great mystery, without a word having to be said. We're so hung up on our words. We don't really need a lot of that. So we have the seasons, the changes of cycles and the traditional American Indian ceremonies that are on purpose done in a circle. And so one of the things that I know too is that when hot air, like in the summertime, when hot air starts to rise, because hot air rises, and so it's light, all right, and it's lighter, and so what does it do when it goes up to make a cloud? It's got some moisture in it, some water molecules, and it spirals, doesn't it? And so that too is a circle. Have you ever watched a bird catch a thermal? And they don't have to flap their wings. They just ride them up. And they're going around in a circle, but they're not moving their wings. So to me, that is beauty. Do you ever stop and when you look at nature, you go, oh, sometimes you just have to take a breath because of the beauty of it? Beauty to behold. So what is beauty to behold? It's art. It's art. Which led me to Julia Cameron. Okay. And she reminds us that we will know what is ours to do when we are open to the inspiration and guidance of the Holy Spirit in service to others. And what does that mean? What does that mean to us? She says, few of us are called to perform as fine artists, but all of us are called to be creators. It's in our DNA, too. Have you ever seen an artist's picture of DNA and it's a spiral, circle. Each of us is called to bring creativity, purpose, and passion to our vocation, no matter what it is. And she says, in centuries past, art was made for the honor and glory of God. Can you remember that? And I can remember reading history books from when art started to be made because somebody wanted to paint a picture of a really beautiful person naked or something like that, And there was this big outcry from the church because it was assumed that art was for the glory of God and not for the glory of the artist that did it. And so that's our clue. The dedication of our work. And now I'm talking about the workday. And some of you are not retired yet, and some of you are. And so the dedication of our work to a cause higher than our own. And even when we're retired, we have work. And we dedicate it to something higher than ourselves, than our small self. The German poet Rilke, have you ever read any of his really gorgeous poems about and letters to God kind of thing? And he said, as bees collect honey, so we take what is sweetest out of everything and build God. And so the sweetness that I took from when my grandfather and uncle took me fishing, that sweetness that I realized was building God. I love that. As bees collect honey, so we take what is sweetest out of everything and build God. It's so beautiful. So, my time is almost up, but I had a student who hated her job, talk to me all the time about it, and so one day, I just said, why don't you, when you go to work, just do the best job you can and just be the best administrative assistant that you can be? What would happen if you did that? Just, what do you think about trying that? And so the next week when she came in, she said, I love my job now. Because she was trying to be and she didn't disapprove of her boss anymore, and she learned how to handle him, you know, that kind of thing. And so by doing the best that we can, not just half, I'm not going to finish that phrase, but we're building God. We are building God. Building God. And then talk about building God. One more thing is that the discussion group, I don't know what to call it, but it's called Creating Sacred Community, that meets on Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock on Zoom. I've been doing this for over 2 years now. And now the thing that we're doing is we're writing haiku. We're writing haiku poetry, and we read it when we get in. And that isn't all we do, but we talk about stuff. But anyway, so we've written so much of it that my idea is to get it published. And if anybody knows an artist who could kind of help us with that, but we're going to publish our haikus. And we are going to use it as a fundraiser for the church, building God, right? We're doing it. So when we take our creation back to the realm of the sacred, we are making that act of sacred service. So what is our source? Great Spirit is our source of everything we need. Allow yourself to be loved and receive the Holy Spirit. Allow yourself to be loved and receive the Holy Spirit. And so it is. And now we're going to have another chant, Kathy, and then, or not, I don't know, and we're going to go into meditation. I'm going to sit down for that.
Among the leaves. Yeah. And God. I have been among these leaves for as long as there've been trees. I have been among these leaves for as long as there've been trees. I am the breath cascading. I am the fuse of the dawn. I am the breath cascading. I am the roots growing strong. I have been among these leaves for as long as there've been trees. I have been among these leaves for as long as there've been trees. I am the breath cascading. I am the fuse of the dawn. Fire. I am the breath cascading. I am the roots growing strong. I have been among these leaves for as long as there've been trees. I have been among these leaves for as long as there've been trees. I have been among these leaves for as long as there've been trees.
I am the breath of spirit. Every breath that I take, I am a constant conduit of the energy of Great Spirit. I am that. I allow my imagination to send luminous roots out of the bottom of my feet, down, down, down into the earth, where I am anchored by this beautiful Gaia, this beautiful earth being. I can imagine feeling the coolness as I go deeper, like a tree. I am one of the standing people with the trees. Every breath that I take is spirit. I breathe spirit. Spirit breathes me. All the time, present, the present flow of life surrounds me with love and light. In my imagination, I look and I see far, far away, and I see an eagle on the thermals, flying throughout the entire universe. Flying all around, blessings, blessing all of the universe. I am that eagle. When I fly, when I get in the flow of the thermals, of the work that I do in service. Creation. I am made by creation, and so I create. And I know that there is an abundance of all good, abundance. And so I open my heart, I open my hands to receive. I am open, I am open, I am open. My cup is full. Abundance of creativity is here now in my life. There is nothing that I need to do but allow it and receive it. I am blessed. I am so blessed. God is life. God is this flow, this circle dance, a relationship. And so in this openness, I am grateful, 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 grateful. And in my own way, I thank Spirit at this time. And if there is anyone you know who may benefit from the energy that is in this room right now, feel free to say their name out loud, the vibration of their name out loud. And so we thank Gaia, Mother Earth, for allowing us to root ourselves in her loving abundance. And we very gently come back to this room, knowing that each and every one of us are the breath of Spirit, and that wherever we go, we are channels of the divine. And so it is. Amen. Aho.
Thank you, Carla. Very inspirational talk.
You're welcome.
At this time, we embrace the principle of giving as a spiritual practice. You are invited to take your love offering in your hand, or imagine it if you have already given electronically or placed it in a basket. And now we bless our gifts, knowing that as we give, our blessings are multiplied. Divine love expressed in me, through me and as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Let us now give thanks for the continued growth and prosperity of our beautiful ministry. Hold these words in your heart. Unity of Gainesville, Florida is richly blessed and in the flow of universal abundance. We give thanks that just the right people with loving hearts and skills to help us grow are attracted to join us. We accept the good that enriches us and all with whom we have contact. We are prosperous, loving, and healthy, joyfully creating an abundant life. And so it is.
So it is.
Let's bring on the children, if we have any.
Oh, yay. Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
I heard it was about hoops today. So I brought mine. Just want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July, and maybe next week we will be doing some fun things celebrating the birth of our nation.
Thank you, Miss Gwen.
So we bless the children.
Let's join together in blessing our children and the children of the world. Children, we love you.
We love you.
We bless you.
We bless you.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
And we see the Christ's presence within you. We love you. We love you. We really, really love you. Let's form a circle.
I just really want to thank, though, our musicians today who just made my heart sing. So thank you guys again.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.